Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
As we are on the eve of celebrating Christmas, we want to reflect on 2010 and think about the real reason for the season. I am Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel and dean of Liberty University School of Law. Joining me is Shawn Akers, dean of the Helm School of Government at Liberty University and public policy analyst for Liberty Counsel. Shawn, this is Christmas Eve. It's clearly my favorite time of the year to celebrate Christmas, to be with family and friends, but really to celebrate the reason for the season and the reason for all that we do as individuals, what we are thankful for, that God sent His only Son to be a human and live like us in our flesh, to suffer, die, and take our place as a substitutionary atonement, and to be able to have the joy of the resurrection, to be able to have that life-changing experience because of God's intervention in human history. It's the reason for the season. It's the reason for our being. It's the reason for Liberty Counsel's existence as well.
You know, Matt, that's one of those things that tends to pass us by, and we have to stop and think about it. When I stop and think that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, that God had no limits, that Christ was the full expanse of all eternity and allowed Himself to be confined to the area of a small infant, to have the finite contain the infinite, the corporeal contain the incorporeal, for Christ to allow Himself to be born as a little baby. And that's the thing that we celebrate, is the humility and the sacrifice of God at this time of year. It really is overwhelming and makes us stop and think how much more we could do throughout the year. You know,
you think about, my mom passed away and went to be with the Lord this year in 2010. She was somebody who was claustrophobic, so she did not want to get into small places. Thankfully, she never had to have a closed-tube MRI. If she had, she would have had to take a Valium to experience that, because she would have gone nuts being in that closed-tube MRI. And a lot of people are claustrophobic. You think about God, though. God, in the person of Jesus Christ, is omnipresent. He can be everywhere, omniscient, knows everything. And yet He incarnated Himself in a physical body, which was not itself. It confined to a time and space, and did that to be one of us, and could have used those divine powers to stop the crucifixion, could have used the divine powers in any other way that He chose, but chose to limit and to live as a human. That's an incredible moment in history. And it is incredible that He would experience the separation that we experience through sin, separating from God, or that eternal separation that we would experience had it not been for His substitutionary death. He actually experienced what that eternal separation would be for that moment when He was on the cross and while He was in the tomb. And yet went through that for all of us. And that's the reason for this season, as we celebrate that incarnation in history.
You know, when we go through this Christmas season and we stop and look at how much Liberty Counsel fought through the year and how much it fights at the Christmas time to keep Christ in Christmas, this is what it's all about. We're not just doing that as a thing to keep a tradition alive. We're literally celebrating. That's been lost largely through commercialization of all kind of celebrations in the United States. But at the root of this, it's not a commercial venture. We are celebrating that the Lord God, King of the universe, did take this humble step of allowing Himself to be confined in a human body so that He could dwell among us and then make the one and only perfect sacrifice that puts us back in contact with a living God. That is something worth celebrating.
It really is. And, the war against Christmas that we've talked about and our Friend or Foe Christmas campaign and the Naughty and Nice list, those are not just to create controversy or to grab headlines. Those are a mechanism to make sure that the real essence and reason for the season are not shoved aside, brushed aside, or censored. And when you look at what happens during the month of December around Christmas and some of the absurdities that we've experienced, changing Christmas trees to holiday trees, eliminating the word Merry Christmas, telling students in school you can't wear red and green, censoring their music from anything that says God or Jesus Christ or even Christmas, all of that is kind of the epitome. It's the epicenter. It's the culmination of the discrimination against the real reason for our existence all year round. It's really the culmination of the other 11 months. It just becomes more focused, and crescendo becomes even greater to eliminate that reason for the season. Jesus said when he was on this earth, he said that if they're going to do this while the tree is alive, then what are they going to do when it dies? That don't be surprised if they do this to me, they're going to also persecute you. There's this conflict between good and evil, between Christ and Satan. And that conflict manifests itself in these physical conflicts, whether it's a nativity scene, a Christmas carol, tree being named a holiday tree in order to eliminate the word Christ from Christmas. All of those are outgrowth manifestations of that greater spiritual struggle.
But the beautiful side of that, Matt, is that we're on the side of the Lord God, and when we stop and give honor to His Son who was born at this time, all of that seems to be rendered to some extent just kind of pointless. You see all those folks that are kicking against the goads and trying to take Christ out of Christmas, but what they can't do is take it out of the American people, because we have, as a nation, always acknowledged. Our founders told us that, literally, if the Lord God can't, a sparrow can't fall from the sky without His knowledge, without His seeing it, then how in the world would we expect a nation to rise without His help? And we've seen that over and over again. There's always been a contingency, and there's still a contingency of His people who are called by His name, that at this time and season don't just see this as a time to buy gifts or to just put up a Christmas tree, but they know what that means, that we're talking about Jesus.
Well, Liberty Counsel has produced its 2010 year-end report, and the title across the top of this is, "For Such a Time as This, Liberty Counsel Advances Life, Liberty, and Family." And that's what this ministry is really about, advancing life, liberty, and family through education, litigation, and through public policy. I would encourage those of you who have not received this in the mail to call Liberty Counsel at 1-800-671-1776 or go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, to get a copy of this, because it's very encouraging. We cannot do this on our own without your prayers and without your financial partnership. So all of these different things that we have in here, and it's chock full of information of what happened in 2010 that Liberty Counsel was involved with, and it's only the tip of the iceberg, because we just don't have the space to put everything that Liberty Counsel does in 1 year in 4 pages. But it is a summary that gives you an idea of the outreach that Liberty Counsel is doing for such a time as this. So as we're celebrating this time in history, for such a time as this, God has also birthed us to make a difference because of that time in history where God incarnated in Jesus Christ.
Matt, seriously, those that have supported Liberty Counsel through the year, you have got to go pull down this 2010 year-end report. It is packed with the gifts that God has routed through you and through Liberty Counsel to the nation throughout the year. As I go through this, it is amazing to see how much was accomplished through Liberty Counsel last year. And for those of you that maybe have been listening to Liberty Counsel and following what it does but have not supported, this is the time to get in on next year's wish list, because as much as there is on the year-end report for 2010, I fully anticipate that the 2011 year-end report will be something spectacular.
Well, it will, and you'll be a part of that. So go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. You can also sign up for many different outreach emails. One is the Grassroots Action Update, and that's our activist email. Another is the Liberty Alert, and that's more of an educational email. It doesn't have the mechanism of faxes and petitions as the other one does. Both of those cover different things, so you might want to sign up for both of those. I would if I were you. And also, you can go to Liberty Counsel's website and make a year-end contribution as we remember this season. Remember Liberty Counsel in your prayer and your year-end giving. You can go to the website or call 1-800-671-1776. We want to, on behalf of Anita and the rest of the staff at Liberty Counsel, wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
You have been listening to Matt Staver of Liberty Counsel. Our hope is to encourage and inspire you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedoms. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email update. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.